in Albany impact the chamber members?
Hi, I'm Shawn Slevin with Swim Strong Foundation, and yes, this is my first trip to Albany, and I'm interested to go and meet some of our legislators because perhaps water safety needs to be legislated in our great state, so I'm going to check that out.
This is my first time in Queens and Albany. It's very exciting. I met some really fantastic people today already, just sitting on the bus, and I went to an event which was taught us how to do construction and ocean safety, and I really enjoyed it, and it was such a service to everybody. I recommend everybody join the chamber.
Tell me, why'd you come out for Queens Day in Albany today?
Well, this is my first time actually coming out for Queens Day. This is my third trip here to Albany. I've never been out here to Albany with the Chambers of Commerce.
What do you expect from this Queens Day in Albany bus ride?
Well, this is my first time coming with the Chambers of Commerce, and I was curious of what's going on.
I'm Scott Thornhill with Alpha Point, and we came out today because we wanted to highlight the great things that are going on in Queens. We've made about a $30 million investment in Richmond Hill area of Queens, and we felt like it was important to let our elected officials know the great things that are going on. We work with people who are blind, pushing workforce development, working on getting a 70% unemployment rate in the blind community down significantly. And so we want our lawmakers to know what we're doing and the exciting things that are happening in Queens with nonprofits.
We want to bring awareness to the community of blind and visually impaired people that are in Queens, and the opportunities we offer them with jobs in the city, and to help them improve their lives.
It's a wonderful organization. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Certainly, on behalf of Ms. Stokes and the entire Queens delegation, we welcome you here to the New York City Assembly. It does our hearts good to have our borough in the House.
Watching QPTV Daily Social Live. QPTV's live daily show. QPTV.org's live daily show. It's going to take me some time to fully remember that. I'm your host for today, James. Let's get started. Another reminder, appointments are open at York College for all eligible New Yorkers who live in Queens. Confirm your eligibility and schedule an appointment today at the website on the screen. am-eligible.covid19vaccine.health.ny.gov. Go to QPTV.org to access our COVID-19 resources panel, where you will find this link and a ton of resources, information, links, and video. We also have our own Queens Conversations and Queens Perspectives as an ongoing series of episodes focusing on COVID in Queens. Go to qptv.org to check it all out. On Wednesday, QPTV aired Queensborough President Donovan Richards' inaugural State of the Borough address. The borough president outlined his vision for Queens, and you can see it all right here on qptv.org. Go to qptv.org to check it out. Here's a preview.
Museum of the Moving Image.
At this arts institution housed in the city-owned building, visitors learn about film, video game, and television history. Museum of the Moving Images building is part of the historic Astoria Studios, opened by Paramount
We showed
Pictures
a piece of
in
this yesterday. I want to skip ahead a little bit.
Based health centers offering preventative medicine and keeping non-emergencies out of our crowded emergency rooms. This means advocating for new hospital construction and increasing funding to our existing hospitals, which are already doing so much with far less than they need. We need to think big and act bold. Let's make sure that if and when another pandemic hits our city, we won't be overwhelmed the way we were last year. This pandemic has not only affected our health and well-being, it also led us into a financial crisis and impacted our economic development. There is no other way to say it. We are living through an economic pandemic, causing a crisis rivaled only by the Great Depression nearly a century ago. 9 straight months of double-digit unemployment in Queens, peaking at over 21% last summer. Hundreds of small businesses, the heartbeats of our communities, closed, many of them women and minority-owned. Thousands more only survive on the margins, each week bringing new challenges and new threats to their very existence. Countless families are lying awake at night, not knowing if they can afford to live in the community they love, in the borough they proudly call home. And make no mistake, many of these families are families of color. They are immigrant families. They might even be yours. For myself and many others across Queens, this is not a secret or something abstract.
So you definitely want to check that out. It's a very well done video and an incredible speech. You want to check that out. Excuse me, I'm a little sniffly. It's cold outside today. Let's take a look at the next segment. And obviously, Women's History Month is March, and QPTV will be covering it on our various programs. You'll see coming up, and we'll be bringing that to you all month. So you'll want to stay tuned to Daily Social Live, and you'll want to subscribe to the newsletter, but we'll be describing that a little later on this show. In the meantime, let's take a look at this preview here, this promo of what's happening, and a little bit of Women's History Month information. Uh-oh. There seems to be audio issues here. My apologies. All right. Let's move on to the next segment, which will we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're also on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Of course, over time, we'll be looking at each one of these to show you what's going on each one of these different outlets and how we interact with you. All that. More to come on the show as we build it up. But in the meantime, you could also send us an email if you have any suggestions. You want to say hi? Please send it to media@qptv.org. And don't forget to watch us channel. Watch us on the channels. Spectrum, RCN and Files. Everything QPTV presents, you'll find here on qptv.org. But nothing's quite like watching it on your television screen. Queen's Conversations is the live talk show featuring QPTV's award-winning production and hosting team, Lucia Dragosh, Norrin Omar, and Omar and John Collins, having discussions with a diverse spectrum of Queens residents and leaders. Every topic is incredibly relevant, and every discussion is enlightening. Here we have a clip that we're going to show from yesterday's episode, which was excellent. So please, when this is done, go back and watch it. It's actually the leadership from the Queens Historical Society. And let's just dive right into it.
Take the 7 train all the way to the end, Flushing Main Street, and just take a 5-minute walk up to Roosevelt Avenue, and you are in this very unique corner of different historical places.
Let's jump ahead to a part where they were actually taking a look at some of the older photographs.
Landmark historic.
And here is one of the only photos, and it traveled further south through that westbound, okay, towards Corona. Now today, that Queens Flushing Meadows was the dumping ground for the Brooklyn Ash Removal Company. If you ever read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, he talks about this ash heap in Flushing Meadows, and he names it the Valley of Ashes. And that's one of the first times in popular American literature that Queens, especially Flushing, makes an appearance. This is another Percy Loomis photo. This is Northern Boulevard. This is from October 5th, 1935. This is one of my favorite photos from the collection. This is Northern Boulevard heading westbound, okay, towards Corona. Now, today, when you take Northern Boulevard, it does pass over Flushing River, okay, but it's a huge overpass bridge, and it's called the William Prince Bridge. But this bridge in 1935, the 1935 version, was actually a drawbridge, as you could see here. And the reason it was a drawbridge is because Flushing River, which goes beneath the bridge in those days, was A, deeper, and it traveled further south through the meadows almost to Jamaica, where you could actually bring barges and tugboats with cargo and supply. And there was actually a plan to extend the river through the heart of Jamaica to go all the way down into the Rockaways, to be like a canal that would go from the northern part of the borough, the Flushing Bay, down through the center part of the borough and into Jamaica Bay. But that project was never complete. But in those days, it was a pathway for barges. And here is one of the only photos that is known in existence of traffic waiting for that drawbridge to come back down.
Well, I hope those people in Corona got their Schlitz beer on time.
Yes, you can see right there the Schlitz beer delivery truck.
Have you got anything that shows us how rural this area was at one?
This next part is really fun. I'll let it play in the background a little bit while I talk about it, but you really should watch it because it's a really, really great episode. All the episodes are great, don't get me wrong. But I like looking at old photos of I like looking into the past. It's nice. So check out Queen's Conversations, and while we're at it, let's take a look at some of the events that are coming up. As we bring that up. Queens Historical Society.
Hello, I'm Rosa Nieves. Welcome to Queen's Perspectives. Black History Month is a time for honoring the triumphs and struggles of African Americans throughout the United States that put their stamp on history, like the legendary Keith David. He is a classically trained actor and producer that has over 300 credits to his name, winning 3 Emmys out of 6 nominations, as well as being nominated for a Tony Award. You may have seen him in the TV series Greenleaf for Oprah Winfrey's own network, or the Halo series, Platoon, The Thing, Dead Presidents, Crash, There's Something About Mary, Barbershop,
muted,
and
yes.
The Prince and the Frog. I would like to welcome Keith David. Keith, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Keith, the last time I saw you, it was at your Let There Be Love concert. The show aired in February, then COVID hit the world in March. How did the pandemic affect you and your upcoming projects?
Well, the pandemic has affected me like it's affected everyone else. I mean, the shutdown has been, worldwide, certainly nationwide. And so a lot of things have been on hold. I have managed to, I've done 3 movies since last March. I finished a movie that I was working on. March 12th, I was sent home. I went back.
Yeah,
in
yes,
August
Keith David. I'm
to complete that
commenting
movie.
to
Then I
Mr.
went
Christian Knight in the
to,
comments.
open
He's
back up with
quite a
very
prolific
strict COVID
voice actor. Look him up on
Then
IMDb.
I've
You'd be
done
surprised.
2 more, one here in Los Angeles. And it was I just had like a day on the film, and again, with very strict protocols, but still somebody managed to test positive on the set, and they shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then went back, 14 days later. So
Okay, before we head back, there's a mute issue. I have some of my secret keys here programmed a certain way, and I think some got mixed up where it's supposed to mute automatically and unmute, and I think I got something mixed up there. But yeah, if I'm muted, please comment so I'm not going through the whole thing if you happen to be watching. Otherwise, again, there'll be a 10-hour long blooper reel at the end of the year. Let's take a look at the next thing. See, I'm muted. I was muted there, Gare, for a second. Okay. Let's try the next one, and I'll keep quiet. Here's one from the National Weather Service, New York, explaining where all this cold air came from. Another one. New York traffic advisory from the New York Department of Transportation. And winter is a tough time for a lot of people, and the pandemic has been a tough time, and you put the two together, it can be pretty rough. So the New York State Office of Mental Health is putting out wellness tips. Queen's Delish, HALAL, on 34th. Queen's Delish is a series hosted by Lucia and Noran, who take us around Queens exploring the culturally rich culinary scene. Queens is the home of well over 2 million people, half of them born outside of the United States, speaking untold hundreds of mother tongues. During the day, you might hear a dozen languages, and the gastronomic variety is perhaps even more astonishing. Lucia's Eastern European and Noran's Middle Eastern palates clash at times over the texture of a chicken, or they collectively admire the color and crispiness of a falafel. Still, overall, they are on a quest to explore not only what the diverse Queens food scene has to offer, but to find out the personal journey of the people preparing the food. In this first episode, they visit Mahmoud's Instagram-worthy food truck, where Lucia professes her food for falafel and makes a confession. It has something to do with why she's biased. Noran shares a breakfast family tradition inspired by her Middle Eastern roots. Here's a little preview of Queen's Delish. Don't mind me and my misspeaking.
Oh, that's mine? Oh, thank you, thank you. They have French fries, tahini sauce, he said, eggplant, lettuce, and the falafel. But it's not on a pita bread. I guess they ran out of today, and it's on a hero.
I want to see your reaction in comparison from the 10 years to now.
Okay.
So let's
Here we
see
go.
it.
Oh my God.
Yeah?
This is really good.
Oh, wow.
The falafel, it's so crispy.
Okay.
And look, it's green inside.
Oh,
I
wow.
think you can tell if that's a good falafel.
Yeah,
when it's green.
I think the
Because
color.
sometimes it's white and it's very dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crispy from the outside, and inside is so soft. And I like that touch of the eggplant.
So if I'm sure you're hungry. All of a sudden I got very hungry. Go to QPTV.org. Check out this program. We might bring you more next week if we have time. I'd like to bring you more today, but we don't have a whole lot. Don't forget, get all the latest news and updates from QPTV. Subscribe to our newsletter right now. Go to qptv.org/newsletter. And let's see what else we have for you before we head out. As time goes on, we'll be able to build out these shows more and more. and get a more consistent time. Next week, we, again, let me get out the way. We have our scam awareness and fraud protection seminar that will be simulcast on QPTV. We'll have more of that next week. So there won't be any situation where you don't know what time it'll be on, where to look for it, or anything like that. We're going to bring it to you. So with that, it's pretty sunny out, and it's not as cold as it was earlier, but it's still a beautiful day. It's March, getting closer to spring. And it's the weekend, so it's Happy Friday. And we want to thank you again for tuning in to Daily Social Live from QPTV. We'll be back next week with more on what you should know from Queens Public Television. We can't do this without you. In fact, we're here for you. We want you to become part of our in real life social network. Go to qptv.org to find out how to watch, learn, and create with QPTV. Tell your friends about us, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and be well. By the way, folks, if you're out there and you happen to be watching QPTV and you're happy to be hungry and you want to figure out what to eat and you're on your break and you might want some lunch, you know what to do.